Hello, viewers. There's a thought in my mind that I really want to share with us. And that thought is sex does not actually satisfy sexual desires. I know you might want to argue with me, or you might say, what do I mean by saying that sex does not actually satisfy sexual desires? Alright. If sex actually satisfies sexual desires, why is it that many men that have had sex before still went ahead to cheat? Many women who are married and who had several occasions on several times of multiple sex still went ahead to cheat. So that should tell you that sex does not actually satisfy sexual desires. It is by discipline you can tame your sexual desire. You know, we're in a world where we think, because of how desperate our sexual urge can be, how desperate our sexual urge can be, sometimes it pushes us to do funny things. You see, multiple sex cannot satisfy your sexual desire. This is why even after you have thousands of sex, maybe first day, second day, or third day, or 1 year in the marriage, or 2 years in the marriage, you still discover that you still want to have sex. So it means that sex does not actually satisfy sexual desires. It only satisfies for the moment, not for eternal. It only satisfies, how will I put it? It's only satisfy that urge at that moment, but does not mean that the sex the couples had at that moment will satisfy every sexual desires. I don't know whether you understand me yet. What I'm trying to say in essence is that without discipline, sex cannot satisfy sexual desires. So many people thought it is when they have the wildest sex. So many couples think it is when they have the wildest sex. This is why we have a lot of confusion in the entire body of Christ. Because many Christian couples, some of them still want to go outside the line because they have these fantasies on their head. The truth is, multiple sex does not satisfy sexual desires. It is by discipline that your sexual desire can be satisfied. This is why when you meet couples who love each other, who love each other and who love to be contented with their spouse, you will discover that no matter, maybe they just have just a period of maybe a few minutes sex, you discover that they'll be contented. Why? Because there is an there is an atmosphere, there is an iota of satisfaction, of discipline. The sex they have at that moment that the couples had might not be satisfied. The two of them might not really be satisfied, but they have what I call contention, and what I call they have discipline. There are many couples who do not have contention after sex with their couple, their spouse. So this thought I've been going through my mind, and when I look at it and I also search the scripture, I came to realize that sex does not really satisfy sexual desires. If it does, many people would have not cheated on their spouse. So it is lack of discipline that make one to continue to have multiple sex or multiple sexual partners. So when a couple has discipline, they can tame their sexual desire. They can put their sexual desire under pressure. This was the same issue that Samson had. When you look at the Bible clearly, you will discover that Samson could not tame his sexual desires. This is not about a man thing. Because many ladies will say, oh, men are wired that way. No, men are not wired that way. There are many women too who could not control their urge. Are you following? So it's not a man thing, it's not a woman thing, it's a discipline thing. I need us to understand that You know, we are in we are in a world where people think a lot of, in fact, especially the singles who are yet to marry, they thought until you have the widest sex, until you have sex in the car, sex on top of the roof, sex in the kitchen, sex in the toilet, sex in wherever, sex in the sitting room, sex in the bedroom, they thought once you do all those wildest sex, then their sexual desire will be satisfied. So after you have all those sex, I can guarantee you that you can't still be satisfied. Because after that day, after 2 days, after 3 days, there will still be a sexual desire pumping up in your mind that you need to have another sex. So this should tell you that sex does not really satisfy sexual desire. What satisfies sexual desire is discipline. Until we come to that understanding of discipline, we will keep looking for different people to satisfy our urge. And the truth is, even if you had sex with 400,000 people, your urge can never be satisfied until you place that urge under discipline, until you enter the realm of contentment. There are couples, they just have just two columns of sex, three columns, and they are satisfied. Why? Because the wife is contented, the husband is contented. But you see those ones that say, no, we want to go, we want to do it wild, we want to, no, I want to come or whatever. After you come today, tomorrow you still want to come, next week you still want to come. So the coming can never end. So the best thing for you to undo your sexual desire is by discipline. This has nothing to do with whether you are married or you're not married. Because there are many people who are married and yet they cannot subject their sexual desire under discipline. So it has nothing to do with whether you're married or you're not married. There are many singles who are keeping themselves. They don't have sex, even though they have sexual urge. They don't. They are keeping themselves. So such people, if they got married, if they eventually get married, they have already trained themselves in the atmosphere of discipline. But those singles that they could not hold their body and they say, oh, my body is doing me one can, my body is doing me one can, my body is doing me so much, my body is doing me. Don't worry. If you don't tame that body, thinking until you have multiple sex, that is why you see most people that cheat are the people that have been doing the sex severally before they married. So after they married, they would not still be contented. Are you following? I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying most people that cheat, and most of these are people that they have multiple sex before, whilst they married, and they thought maybe after they got married, the person they get married to probably will, when they have multiple sex, the sex intercourse will make their sexual urge be tamed. But unfortunately, that is not it. This is why it is important to discipline your sexual desires. And that's what the Bible kept teaching us to. It said the bed is honorable. The bed is honorable when it's not defiled. You see, so the Bible is teaching you discipline. God already knew that. He knows that there is a desire in man. There's a sexual appetite in man that no matter how many sex you have with your partner and all that, it can't kill that. It can't quench the thirst of that sexual desire. So the only way you can quench the thirst of that sexual desire is discipline and contentment. Is discipline and contentment. And I want to elaborate this to those of you that you have exes, or you have exes and you enjoy your whatever sexual you both had in the past. Listen. That sex you have with your ex or with your exes, now that you are married, don't expect that same fantasies to happen in your marriage. That man is different. The woman you are with is different. So some of you will be looking for that enjoyment, well, because some of them are not even Christians. Some of you will be looking for that fantasy, that enjoyment you had with your ex. So now that you are married, you are looking for that same fantasies, that same sexual fantasies that you had, sexual pleasure that you had with your ex. Now you want it you want it in the marriage with this new person, it's going to give you frustration. I'm telling the truth. Because this person you are with in the marriage is different from your ex. It's different from all your exes. Also, some of you that you still watch porn, singles that watch porn, after you finish watching the porn, you want your spouse, or you got married, or you've already had that mindset of porn ship or whatever porn you've watched. Now you now got married, you want to start emphasize or imagining, you want to practice what is in your head, what you have watched. See, you are failed. You are failed completely. Because porn is not the realistic. They are only acting. And whatever you are watching in porn, they are being paid for it. So they are expected to do more. They are expected to do like a dog and like a monkey and like a fowl. The person you are with is not a porn star. It's not a porn actor. It's a Christian sister. It's a Christian brother. You don't expect them to go wild. I don't understand this generation. You say you are Christian. You are looking for a wild sex. A sex that you are watching porn. You want your believer husband to try it on you. You want your believer sister to try it on you. Are you okay? Brother, sisters, are you okay? See, let's come to this realization that we shouldn't go and learn one stupid thing on TV, on whatever, and we want to come and bring it into your godly home. It is not advisable. Learn what is good, not what is bad. Many people have destroyed their marriage because of sexual desires that can't be satisfied. Your sexual desire cannot be satisfied until you tame it, until you discipline it, until you discipline that urge, until you discipline that desire, until you are contented. It is not until your wife have sex with you on 10 rounds, 20 rounds before you can be satisfied. Let me tell you, after the 20 round sex, it's only that day. It's only that day or 2 days or 3 days. After that 3 days, you will still demand for sex. For you to know that sexual desire cannot be satisfied with sex. So even if your husband give you 28 rounds, forget it. It's just that moment. The body is so wired that no amount of 20 rounds or 10 million sex rounds you do, it's a matter of time. Next week, your body will still demand for it. So what should you do? If you're a believer, you are hearing me. And if you're not a believer that you're hearing me, what you can do is discipline. That is the reality. It is when you discipline your sexual desire. And this is the reason why so many couples who are cheating on themselves, they thought they can get it outside. Because they felt their wife is not giving it to them or their husband is not giving it to them. So they thought they can get it outside. And meanwhile, you see them going going outside to cheat on their spouse. And after they cheat on their spouse, they still discover that desire is not being satisfied. That desire is not still satisfied. This is why some men can have 3 or 4, 5 slave queen or 3 or 4 different sex partners. Same with some women. So why are we just killing ourselves? Why are we just destroying ourselves? Why? So the best thing we can do for ourselves is to come back to the understanding of disciplining ourselves. Be contented with your spouse. Be contented with that woman you are married to. Be contented with that man you are married to. If it is sex in the week, twice in the week or 3 times you have it with your wife, be contented. Pray for grace to be contented. Pray for grace to be disciplined, to be satisfied. Don't think there is one person out there that can give you what you are looking for. My dear, you can never be satisfied. If you have 14 sexual partners, you can still not be satisfied. Ask King Solomon. 700 wives, 300 concubines. The guy, if not that he died, I know he would have married like 900 wives and 300 or 400 concubines. I believe all those 700, he would have chop. He had sex with all of them, yet he was not satisfied. You still go and have 300 concubines. So for you to know sexual desire, sex cannot satisfy sexual desire. It is discipline. It is discipline that can satisfy your sexual desire. God bless us till we meet again. I remain Pastor Elijah Okunnuwa. Take your time and listen to this, and ensure you share, ensure you comment, ensure you subscribe on my channel. God bless you till we meet again.